the anthems playing first for visiting Belgium. Emil Penza, the captain, and now the national anthem, Serbia-Montenegro. And we are ready to go. The national anthems have been played, two teams under strength. But knowing this is the most important game that either of these nations have played for quite some time. If you saw the lineups immediately, I'm sure you noticed there was no Mateja Kecman, no Savo Milosevic for Serbia-Montenegro. And for Belgium, no Bart Hoor, no Eric de Vlaanderen, and a guy that I've never seen before, but I've only heard raves about, Vincent Kompany, and unfortunately we won't be able to see him today. Yeah, he's quite a player. He's 19 years old. They say that he can play behind the back line as well as in the defensive midfield position. He has great mobility, good vision, gets forward. Complete player at 19 years old, but unfortunately he's suspended today. Complete player and the Belgian Player of the Year at 19. That's amazing because it is still a very good league with some very good teams. Daniel Luboja, number 9, with a great opportunity since there is no Mateja Kecman and no Savo Milosevic. Another quick look at the lineups, and both Mpenza brothers will be playing today. Yeah, they need to attack today, and both players do that. They have the instinct of open field attacking. They're ruthless, they go to goal, and they really make it exciting for Belgium. They need to get behind these two players. Daniel van Buiten, the leader in defense, will be wearing the number 4 jersey. This is a guy who plays at Hamburg, and many people believe he could end up at a much bigger club. The coach, Aime Antunis. Is it just me, or is the stadium lopsided? Well, it's a beautiful backdrop in Belgrade. I've been there before. This is a Maracana. It holds right now about 54,000. Used to hold 100,000. They call the Yugoslavians the Brazilians of Europe. They're trying to reinvigorate this squad and get back their magic. See if they can do it today. You know what? I look at Group 7. You know what I say? San Marino has the chance to break someone's heart. We'll see if it happens. They still haven't got any points. They've only gained 3 points in the history of World Cup qualifying. I think Turkey and Latvia had points taken away by San Marino, but it's very tight. This is going to be one of the groups that go down to the end, unless Serbia-Montenegro can take care of business starting here today. There is the Belgian coach, Jaime Antunis. Serbia-Montenegro led by Ilija Petkovic. Milan Penza didn't think he was going to be the captain until the injury and suspension crisis hits. He'll take that responsibility. Ready for business here at the Red Star Stadium. World Cup qualifying, it's all on the line here at Group 7, Serbia, Montenegro, and Belgium. And it's hard not to get a little warm when you see these two nations playing. Two nations that in World Cup history did exceptionally well. Can we ever forget 1986 when Belgium reached the semifinals?
That's right. They're a beautiful team to watch. And when Enzo Schifo was the number 10 there, also in the United States in 1994, really played attractive football. I remember the game against Holland with Belgium. They have that generation of great players from the 80s that have become exceptional coaches in Holland and other countries in France and in Belgium. Now they're working on this new generation, but they've been struck with a bad situation here of missing some players. At some point, Max, I think the coach, and we see that, he just has to put up the best effort, play secure, and look for a result.
And he has to be offensive-minded, and he would love to have an Enzo Schifo, perhaps a Michel Prudhomme, Eric Haretz, great players in recent memory. That ball given away by Mbo Mpenza. And I tell you what, in the most recent World Cup in 2002, many people still say that the best game Brazil got was from Belgium, who I believe was 3-2 at the end, thanks to Mark Wilmots and his goal scoring. The run there by Emil Mpenza.
That's a great tackle right there from Dragutonovic. They want to set the tempo very early here. They have the crowd behind them. The coach was talking about hitting top form. They have to make sure that the Plavi, the Blues, are playing, you know, right from the first minute so they can dictate the tempo.
Cleared away in the back by Vidic. Belgium coming in with 2 straight wins in World Cup qualifying, although it was against the 2 minnows, Bosnia-Herzegovina and San Marino. Roberto Visconti. Makes you a little hungry, doesn't it? He's brought down. He plays in France for Nice and provides some much-needed experience. Not a bad ball in. Van der Hagen. All Belgium in the opening minutes, although they have not put anything on the goal of Dragoslav Jevric. Here's Goran Gavrancic. Kristajic. Sent back in by Dragutinovic. Free kick for S&M. Koroman. And Van Buiten, the big center back, holding off the onrush of Nenad Jestrovic.
There, we hear the crowd getting into it right now. It can go both ways against him because the expectation of the former Yugoslavian country is so great because they were one of the most beautiful countries of all time playing in Europe. They have to make sure that they can get the results right from the beginning of getting the rhythm, hitting the ball around like they used to. Very collective football, but yet attacking.
And certainly you think about the success that Croatia have had on the international stage, Slovenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina at times doing well. If they all had those players together, what a team that would be. Huh?
That's right. There's been some of them have been down the middle. You look at Prosinecki, you know, the father and mother, one of each. That was Serbian, the other one was Croatian.
Darden gets that ball up to Clement. Lost by Belgium. Charging out Vukic. Couple good touches. Luboja. Oh, it's gone in for Jestrovic, but what a save by Proto. Jestrovic denied by Proto.
This was a great build-up right here. This is what you want to see.
Again, Serbia pushing forward. Van Buiten gets in there. Someone lit a fire, and now Serbia pushing forward. The escape from Benza of the Mbo variety. Belgium will have the throw.
And that could prove to be a golden save right there for Proto because this is as good as it gets. They're linking between 3 players, a little bit of imagination. The reception in front of the box, stepping over the ball and sliding it through the ongoing number 11 was spectacular. Right there.
We were talking about it. Belgium do not have a very stable situation with goalkeepers. They have Silvio Proto and they have Frederick Herpol. Neither one all that capped.
Well, that was a good save right there, and I bet you that Nenad Jestrovic really wanted that goal. He plays at Anderlecht, and he's a goal getter. He's a player that plays in the box, goes to goal, very opportunistic.
Our referee, Valentin Ivanov of Russia. Again, no Mateja Keshman, no Milosevic. Both given a little rest after long seasons. Maybe now's not the time to rest. Jestrovic, Luboja, 2 very good younger players trying to get into the mix. One step back by the experienced Jevric. Plays in Turkey for Ankaraspor. Jestrovic. Luboja. Laid back in there by Koroman. Luboja. Vukic.
Great ball from Stankovic.
Up the left flank, Dragutinovic. Oh, another chance for Jestrovic. Still there for Koroman. In it goes, saved by Proto.
We're seeing the front six of the Serbia-Montenegro players that are being able to link up and connect, get the collective passing, but yet penetrating at the same time. That little magic touch by Stankovic that he does so well. He chips the ball on the run like Dejtara used to do from Hungary, and he has what Stojkovic used to do as well from Yugoslavia. It's a classic move that they're known for.
Kristajic. Van Boyten. Gavrancic. Koroman. Looking for Stankovic. It goes right through. Flicked on. Luboja won't get there. Wow, it's like watching Brazil for real. Look at these plays from Serbia-Montenegro. Beautiful touches. Ambitious ones. Belgium looking for an impact. Buffel.
We're seeing here the Serbian players pulling really advanced on the field, 3/4 of the field. It leaves a little bit of space for Belgium. They're playing a triangle midfield or diamond midfield, but it looks like they're exposed on the flanks, and the tempos come down a little bit on defense.
Here is Ivica Dragutinovic, just like Jestrovic, plays in Belgium professionally at Standard Liège. If you look at this Serbia-Montenegro squad, it's a remarkable list of nations that some of these players play in, from Turkey to the Ukraine, from Russia to Germany, and even in Italy and France.
And there's been a spell now, the last couple of years they've come down a bit. I mean, they were right up there with Brazilians and Argentinians for so many years. I remember when I played in Europe, every team, every corner had a Yugoslav player, former Yugoslav, whether they were Croatian, Bosnia and Herzegovina, or Serbia and Montenegro. Spectacular players.
It's be a happy hunting ground for the likes of Real Madrid even. Stankovic. Playing at Inter. His 52nd cap. Well, a lot of young players getting their chance to step up and fall into the legacy of Belgian soccer. Again, a long streak of 24 years at stake if they don't qualify. Not only have they been in every World Cup since '82, they have made an impact in every World Cup since '82. Mpenza gives it away. Vukic. He loses it. Clement. Buffel. And he'll get the free kick.
Buffel, they will there. We're seeing that the Belgian players are, when they're receiving the ball, they're alone, they're isolated, whereas the Serbia-Montenegro players always have 3 or 4 players around the ball. In the last sequence, they could have moved the ball a little more quickly there on the left flank, so they didn't give it away.
It's going to be important for Buffel to get something going in that midfield. So far, we haven't seen much of him. Visconti, Mbo, Mpenza. Unfortunately, they're collapsing on his brother, Visconti. Just laying some lumber there. Sent Duljac for flight. Kept in play, but not for much longer. Just shocked will have the throw. Van der Haga. Van Boyten.
The field looks a little narrow to me. It didn't seem very wide there for Koroman to receive that ball. You can see the edge of the 18-yard box. It's very close to the sideline. I know it's official, but it's not wide as other fields that we see. It doesn't allow Serbia to really open up the field.
Knowing what they should know, is have the right specifications, the right field for the right needs. And right now it's qualifying for the World Cup. These two teams met earlier in World Cup qualifying, and it was a 2-0 victory for Serbia and Montenegro in Brussels. That was back on November 17th. Vukic and Kejman scoring the goals. Leah Petkovic. Luboya's got a free kick.
That was a great turn there by Luboya. Way to use the body, very intuitive. They just feel the player on his backside. Just caress the ball off the thigh. Watch this, whoop, just moves right on the inside. Great positioning to get a foul.
Look like he had another spin or two left in him. No one wants to listen to the young 22-year-old Silvio Proto. Only his 5th cap for Belgium. Luboya, Proto with his 2nd big save of the day. Mbo looking for his brother Emil. Ooh, look at the pace. Duljaj intercepted by Van Boyten. Buffel. Derden. Buffel. This is the center back Van Boyten staying in the attack for Emil Mpenza. Not the best hop for his brother Mbo. Van der Haga. Now the cross and into the top netting.
This is great work from Belgium. It started with the number 10, Buffel, received the ball, on-rushing left flank player that overlaps, gets him the ball. They have great characteristics, physical characteristics as well as the technical, and just really showing all levels of football. Crossing the ball, getting the ball back, holding it, being patient in the box, combining with 3 players, and then finishing with this conclusion. Good football from Belgium.
Jestrovic. Dispossessed there by De Schacht. Mpenza. Mladen Kristajic plays at Schalke 04. One of the more high-profile players right now for Serbia Montenegro. Duljaj.
So there was a good spell for Belgium. Now we see Stankovic coming back to kind of control the tempo, take a little air out of Belgium. What he does for Inter. Used to play at Lazio, and Roberto Mancini brought him along with him when he got the job as the boss at Inter Milan.
Van Boyten crossing the midfield. Visconti brought down, play on, says Ivanov. Duljaj off the face. It was actually Vukic. Now Visconti. Oh, when he could have kept it a little longer. Intercepted. Dragutinovic.
Nice
Vukic.
cut back right there.
Lost his footing. Almost a miraculous ball to his teammate on the far side. Anthony van den Bora.
This is a good player, Van den Bora.
He better be when you're making an appearance for your nation at the age of 17.
And that's what I love about the football there in the former Yugoslavia. Nice cutback like that, the whole crowd. Ooh. They're making the move before you make it.
That's what separates good from excellent. Luboya. Marked by the Schacht. Koroman. It's a very nice midfield for Serbia Montenegro. Everyone can play the role of hold or play the role of creation.
Well said. And now we see how important the Proto stop was at the beginning, because it could be 1-0 for Serbia Montenegro and they would be allowed to play their kind of football. They're forced to take the advantage.
Still scoreless, quarter of an hour in, but very attractive match between two big names in European soccer. We're in Group 7. Not everyone in action today in all 8 groups. It's a bit of a light schedule. There is activity, of course, in Africa and South America and CONCACAF. Visconti. As we saw in Europe, no big surprises just yet. Maybe we get one here. The shot. Durden.
I'm impressed so far in the first 15 minutes with Belgium. I mean, they're doing well. They're getting the opportunity to pull themselves into their own zone, their own rhythm individually. We just saw Penza right there in the middle make an opening, drag the ball across. Be able to do things laterally with the ball that when you're under pressure, sometimes you don't have that opportunity. So they're being allowed to play, and that brings them into the game.
That ball played forward by Koroman. And Luboya doing his best.
This is great interchange right there between the three players. On Luboya, that just is as if he had glue on his foot. When he ran in between the two players, the ball just stuck right on his foot.
Luboya coming off a disappointing season with Paris Saint-Germain, but on a nicer note, it was he who, a Serb for several years playing under Vahid Halilhodžić, the Bosnian coach.
Yeah, great player.
Yeah, and got along, those two got along just famously. Proto off his line, and the ball sails through the goal mouth.
Well done out of the back.
Well, good call by the ref. That ball never stopped.
Paris Saint-Germain have a history of former Yugoslav Serbian players. Safik Susic, who was one of my favorite when I played in France. I watched him. One of the best of all time. He could light up a stadium. And you had the others that followed, you know, Savicevic, Stojkovic, Mihailovic, who's in Italia now. Great generation.
Still playing.
Jugovic was always a big game player, won a lot of trophies in Europe with Juventus, Sampdoria.
Buffel, no match there physically for Vukic, but Vukic commits the foul.
See a quick restart here from Belgium.
Quickly taken away. That dangerous play there by Clement. Well, we mentioned the history of Serbia and Montenegro, a nation that even when it was Yugoslavia had so much success going back to World Cups. They pretty much qualified for most until recently, and, then they've always made major inroads in each competition as well.
Right. And that was due to the war back in '92. They actually had qualified for the European Cup that Denmark won. Denmark took their place and didn't even qualify and ended up winning. And that really shut them down, as well as many other Eastern European countries that had to make the transition. Hungary, in the last 15 years, have suffered. They fell off the map of football. Their football has gone down completely. And like Yugoslavia, they were one of the greatest teams that ever played for 20 years or 30 years.
Looks like Dragutinovic, I believe, the man still down. Serbia, Montenegro, and maybe an awkward landing. Looks like he's holding his face there.
And then you look at the generation of the great Belgian players in this country, this teeny little country that always was able to qualify. Very similar to Denmark. Magical players that had technique, also had physical capacity, the spirit of winning. They had a lot to their football, and now they're starting a new generation.
And then probably won't qualify for this World Cup, but I think in the next European Championship, the next World Cup, they're going to have a great team because some of these young players and some that aren't playing, like Company, the player we mentioned earlier, the Belgian Player of the Year at 19.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why the Belgium league is so good, because they have a lot of their own countrymen in their own domestic league. So they have limits with the foreign players. And the foreign players they do have are more, I'd say, I don't want to say second tier, but they're not the signings that you see in Italy or in Spain.
Absolutely, not the star power. Guys that fit in nicely, like a Daniel Van Boyten at Hamburg, as well as Milan Penza, who also plays at Hamburg.
And we have an American over there as well.
Oh, Gucci Onyewu. I think it was at Standard Liège.
That's right. Good club. Yeah. Traditionally a great club.
They're treating our boy very nicely. Kavrancic.
Well done to save that ball.
And in the meantime, it is Dragutinovic still receiving some attention. Serbia and Montenegro looking to get back to the World Cup. Last time they were there, 1998, when they had the great Predrag Mijatovic, a Real Madrid midfielder, leading the way, and they narrowly lost to Holland in the knockout stages. Vukic. Jestrovic.
Well done.
Spins out of trouble, accelerates. Oh, what a stop. Stopped in his tracks by Clement. Mbo-Mpenza wants the free kick.
Good goal from the referee, and good work there on the right flank from Penza. Before we saw from level. Right here, number 11, Jestrovic does a great job taking on the players. The coaches said, you go right to goal, you have carte blanche. Go right at them. You got 4 horses behind you that can take care of business behind you. And that's what he's doing.
I think Ilija Petkovic has to be happy that both his strikers have had some good moments here. Mbo. Charging in. Struck well by Van der Haga, but does not get through the second line of defense. To Schacht. Not allowed through by Koroman. All the way back to Van Boyten. Van Boyten, who was at Olympique Marseille, moved to Hamburg, but there was a lot of talk that Sir Alex Ferguson wanted him at Manchester United. Decisive edge. Anytime you get into the 60% range, you are holding the leash. Luboja, Jestrovic. Vanden Bora is going to try and save it. May have just done it.
As is expected in an international game, you should get to that ball. We see Belgium is getting a little tired. Good physical capacity. They're keeping the ball well. The defenders are doing well to feint and receive the ball, keep a little bit of pause, but they're under pressure.
What a good play by the 17-year-old, as it's not going to be a corner kick. Little things like that do add up. And nothing does come of it. Proto with it. Oh, mid-air collision between Kristajic and Mbo-Mpenza.
Impeccable timing right there. We're seeing Stankovic is really sitting his line a little deeper. He's pulling the strings. He's the orchestrator in the midfield because he's got this player, number 8. Watch this right here, coming right through number 20. Boom.
Outstanding defense.
Perfect timing. Never turned his head away from the ball.
I think defenders watching the game right now got a few goosebumps after watching that one, and it came at a cost. But Kristajic, as much as the pain is hitting, would say, I'll do it all again. A little blood on the forehead there. Amazing for the most part that both were able to walk away despite that.
And I think Duja heard that I got it, I'm coming through, and he ducked out of the way. The train was coming.
Mr. Mpenza would not budge.
As we were talking about before, here it is again. Yeah, they both didn't budge right there. Got a little bear kiss on the side of his head.
Stankovic. Vukic. Dragutinovic. Is it a dive?
He's looking for a yellow card. I don't think that's correct, but they get the ball. Vukic, as we were talking about before, Max, I like what he's doing.
He's a big man, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's moving. He's very mobile. He's aggressive with the ball. He's playing very positive, and he's making a difference, a dent for the Serbian team. And that allows Stankovic to do more of the creative things from a deep line position.
Vukic, who plays in the Ukraine for Shakhtar. A team I think we'll hear more and more on the European stage because the players they're bringing in. He's going to take the free kick, and it's going to be stopped by Buffel. And the counterattack is on. Buffel, this is what they need from the number 10. Mbo-Mpenza. He's bumped. There'll be a free kick at the other end. That's outstanding counterattacking.
That's great counterattacking. You're right. Buffel did well. Perfect pass, perfect time. Good overlap. Stankovic did his job to track him down. Most trequartistas, number 10s, don't follow that far back, but he did well.
Oh, and look at that.
There you have it.
They were upset. I wasn't sure if it was because the wall dissipated too early, but even more serious, a handball in the area.
That's a pity that got missed.
Clear handball. Played up and over, taken by Jevric. Belgium have to consider themselves pretty lucky here on the road in the opening 25 minutes. Scoreless between Serbia, Montenegro, and Belgium in this Group 7 World Cup qualifier with so much on the line here at the Red Star Stadium. Scoreless, which would help right now Spain and Lithuania. If someone could win that game, they could move in front. A draw really would help neither of these two teams, but a long way to go, and you have to like that Serbia and Montenegro will be the team that could go over the top and get the victory. They have to at this point. Scoreless here. Serbia-Montenegro with the best chances. Silvio Proto with a couple good saves. Both strikers played well, Luboja and Jestrovic for Serbia-Montenegro.
Yeah, and I think that Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslavia, is really pressing against Belgium, but Belgium's done well with holding that onslaught. And what they've tried to do is they've played out on counterattacks, and they've also built over the half line at the right time. So they're not playing one-dimension football. They're mixing it up as well, given their collective ability during that moment.
Quick look at the scores. The big score there, Croatia winning in Sofia, beating Bulgaria 3-1. Really most home teams winning, but the road teams not exactly beating powers, as is the case with Switzerland beating the Faroe Islands and Poland beating Azerbaijan. 8 groups, some not in action, but most will see some action here on this Saturday and again on the upcoming Wednesday, where we get that much closer to our World Cup field. You know, it's just around the corner.
That's right. It's going to be exciting. You know, Germany is trying to transform their whole team under Jurgen Klinsmann, and I think the whole country is very excited. The whole world wants to go to Germany.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties right now from Belgrade, so we're going to show you highlights from a game we had earlier between Scotland and Moldova, the teams at the bottom of Group 5 at Hampden Park. Scotland pushing forward early on. Moldova with a chance of their own, Sergei Rogachev. And at the end of the first half, this is really the last good chance of the half. And then we hear about a little bit later, James McFadden would get involved with that man, Lee McCullough. First, Kenny Miller in the second half. And then McCullough popping that ball in, and Christian Daly put it over the line.
I love this goal because McCullough, when he fell down, he was down on his behind and got up so quickly before 2 other players. That made the difference, the reaction.
At the other end, there's a chance for Moldova. It was Vadim Boret. And then in the 88th, the second goal would come. Everton striker James McFadden putting it in. Scotland get precious 3 points, and for the time being still have hopes of qualifying for the World Cup.
Good decision from the referee to let that play on as well.
Hey, we got some World Cup qualifiers coming up on Wednesday. Belarus will take on Scotland. Scotland, another chance for 3 more points as they take on the Belarusians Wednesday, June the 8th at 4 Eastern Time. You can see that here exclusively on the Fox Soccer channel. Well, we're having some technical difficulties from Belgrade, but we'll be back here again a little bit later, hopefully, with the images from the first half. Scoreless after 25 minutes. Well, welcome back. We were showing you the coverage of the World Cup qualifier between Serbia, Montenegro, and Belgium, and we have had like a horrible satellite hit from our friends in Serbia, Montenegro, something that out of our control. Hopefully we can get it back. We're working on it diligently, and hopefully we'll have some images for you shortly. Again, the scores from earlier today, the Czechs and the Swedes, making sure there was no letdown, as we've seen so many times in the past. Not today, although Andorra did get a goal.
That's not bad. That's because 10 Czech players were in the box of Andorra.
8-1 there. Nothing really to hoop and holler about here. As we said, Croatia winning at Bulgaria, the biggest result. And maybe Russia making sure there was no bend against Latvia. That game in Group 3. Russia in a dogfight with Portugal and Slovakia. Latvia were in that fight, but with that loss, they're probably out of it. And Portugal and Slovakia will be playing a little bit later in that group. Poland.
I think that's a great result. Croatia at Bulgaria to win 3-1 is really impressive. That's a good team that has kept their order and restored their order when we've seen a lot of other Eastern European countries kind of fall down. They've still maintained their presence.
Croatia in Group 8 with that win go to 16. Sweden with their win go to 15. Those two teams I think will both go to the World Cup because the amount of points they have. So either finish first or second. This is the game we had early on. Nenad Jestrovic with a chance.
Yeah, and I love this gesture right here in the middle of the field. The way the opening came, 3 players on a quick linking counter attack. We saw very good work from the number 11, Stankovic, right here popping the ball over, beating 3 Belgian players, looking for a cross, missed the volley. And as you see a lot of white shirts, 7 red shirts around them, so Belgium is trying to pack it in the 18, but they're not laying down. They're counterattacking, as you see here, connecting. This was after a cross from the left side of the field.
Well, a lot of good action on the Soccer Planet coming here on Fox Soccer Channel. San Jose Earthquakes to meet DC United later today, 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 for our friends on the West Coast, which is where most of those Earthquake fans are. And hope you join us for that one. Wednesday, we have more World Cup qualifiers, Finland and Holland. This a massive game before these two nations in Group 1. Finland still have an outside chance, but they'll have to win at home. You can see that June 8th, 2 p.m. Eastern. And Belarus, Scotland right after that at 4 p.m. Scotland looking to make it 2 for 2 in a 5-day span. Belarus just ahead of them in that group with 5 points as well. That's in Group 5. It's going to be an exciting couple months here with games in September and then a little further down October, November. By then we'll know who's going where, I would imagine. Well, folks, our deepest apologies, but we will not be able to show the remainder of this game because of a really awful satellite hit we just had. If we do get it back, we will join you momentarily. But in the meantime, let's send you to World Soccer Weekly, World Sports Weekly. Enjoy Fox Soccer Channel programming. Once again, our deepest apologies for the hit. Moments away from the kickoff of the second half. And Serbia, Montenegro, and Belgium need to get on the scoreboard. It would be a miraculous turn of events for Belgium, who were dead before wins over Bosnia-Herzegovina and San Marino. Those two popped up on the schedule just in the nick of time. Got them back in the running. And the reserves are warming up. We may see them because of the inefficiency from the starting 11, in particular for Serbia. Montenegro had all the possession but just couldn't come up with the goals.
Well, I think they have to be disappointed that they haven't scored a goal yet, but Belgium should be happy. Serbia and Montenegro has to be patient, try to continue to play their football, being positive, aggressive, and try to open it up. They do have some players, but midfield creative players. There's a young player that's extremely good, Simon Vucicevic, that is very young, and they say he's very similar characteristics of Savicevic. If it's true, it's a player that maybe could enter the field. He played on the under-21 team that got second in the UEFA European Championships. So let's see if Serbia can keep their pressure. I think Belgium has to be happy with a 0-0 result at the moment. Try to look for something on a switch of play, but I'd give the credit to Serbs right now.
Well, we're getting closer to the first half kickoff. Serbia, Montenegro, with, as we said, some key players on the bench. Nenad Djordjevic, another guy who's seen a lot of action. Mirko Vucinic, who plays in the Serie A. And Belgium, unfortunately, they're handcuffed because of the lack of players available. We'll talk about that list a little bit later as we show you Group 1. I tell you, Netherlands and the Czechs will both qualify for the World Cup the way that's going. I think Romania, out of their league when it comes to those two. We'll find out more by the end of Wednesday. But remember, the 8 group winners and the top 2 second-place teams qualify. That might be Greece, who have a narrow edge over Turkey. Ukraine leading the way, looking pretty good. They haven't lost yet.
That's going to be a difficult match right there. Denmark is trying to stay into the hunt. They must win because Ukraine has really set the pace there up top. They have to try to get a second spot.
Group 4 has been tricky for France. They haven't broken away. They haven't lost yet, but they only have 2 wins in 6, and that's allowed Israel and Switzerland and Ireland to stay right with it. That's going to go down to the very end. And in Group 5, where we saw Scotland, they got 3 points. Italy leads the way. I can't really see Norway or Slovenia catching them.
Well, Norway's a tough squad, and Italy can't look past them. Today's going to be a tough match. They're going to be without Francesco Totti, and they're taking a few, not bringing all the stars, but Marcelo Lippi said he'd be happy if they got a draw on this result.
Norway recently getting a win over Costa Rica in a friendly. Group 6, Poland have just gone ahead of England, but I think England will win that group. Austria still barely with a faint flutter of hope. But England will not play today, and they won't play Wednesday, so they'll have a couple games in hand. And in our group, Serbia, Montenegro, 2 points ahead of Spain and Lithuania. This one's still wide open, especially if Serbia and Montenegro do not win today.
Yeah, we talked about it so much today because we've seen the standings over and over again. But one of the things about regarding Spain is the misfortune for Serbia and Montenegro. The last World Cup qualifying has been in the same group with Spain many times.
And in Group 8, Croatia with a narrow edge over Sweden. Both those teams winning today, and it will come down to those two. Maybe, depending on what happens elsewhere, maybe they'll have enough to get through and qualify as a second-place team. But you can't leave that up to chance, as we see Mladen Kristajic heavily bandaged after that collision with Mbo Mpenza. Here at the Red Star Stadium, we're ready for the second half. Belgium outplayed, but not outscored. Milan Benza with Thomas Buffel. Those two have not been able to connect, but if they do, it could pose a major problem for the Serbian team that have most of the talent here, but have not had the finishing.
And Jestrovic, who had the one-on-one opportunity against Proto, you know, had he scored that goal, it would have been a perfect half. He would have really done well, but unfortunately, he just didn't get the goal at the right moment. All his other work in the first half, I think, was very good. He's moving off the ball, but he's moving diagonally. He interchanges well with the forwards that are more creative and sit. And then also he's moving on the left side, working well with Vukovic.
Serbia Montenegro in white going right to left. Dragocinovic. Another throw. This time it comes in for Luboja. Van de Haga. His 43rd cap, the 35-year-old Belgian. He's at near side. Mateja Kejman, Salva Milosevic not called up by Ilija Petkovic, probably more for rest reasons. Belgium without Bart Goor, Eric de Vlaanderen. Eric de Vlaanderen would be the vice captain if he was available. And then Vincent Kompany, the 19-year-old we talked about, who was the Belgian League Player of the Year, and Simon, I should say, who was runner-up for that, also unavailable.
That's right. There we just see Koraman with the ball from the right, gives the ball to Stankovic. He launches a shot from very high, way too high, 35 meters out. Some whistles in the stadium. The pressure as this game continues 0-0 will be heavier and heavier on Serbia.
Luboja from behind. It was Visconti. He commits the foul. Visconti involved in quite a relegation fight for his teammates in Nice. They stay afloat, though.
No, that looks like a clean challenge right there. He wrapped his leg around the player in front, but he did make contact with the ball. 3 Belgium companions right there around. They didn't like that call.
Visconti, I'll tell you, if nothing else, he's a courageous chap. That's the 3rd time we've seen him go into a tackle with the risk of injury very high. Comes out unscathed. And now, free kick for this man, Vukic, who's the leading goal scorer for Serbia Montenegro in World Cup qualifying, has 3 goals. Stankovic. Oh, good ball.
Looking for that second handball again. They saw it one time before. The referee nods his head and says no. We'll have to take a look at that.
If this is a handball, Christopher, then Valentin Ivanov will not be allowed to leave the city of Belgrade.
They have to find a tunnel somewhere to get back home to Bulgaria.
Where's 007? Kuraman. Van Boyten. Oh, a good turn, and losing his marker was Buffel. Cuts it back, finally finds Emil Mpenza. Not too much spin on it, and it will be cleared by Serbia Montenegro. Flicked into Vukic. Jestrovic plays it back, Vukic. To Schacht.
And that's the football we've come accustomed to watching with the former Yugoslavia, Serbia. Little back heel, transitioning with creativity and imagination. What I liked about the cross from the left side earlier from Stankovic is that he got around the player, but he played the ball very deep back into the far post to make sure the goalkeeper couldn't get that ball.
Super cross.
Once again, a missed opportunity for the volley.
That ball's in. Vukic. Pardon me, Luboja tried to turn. Nope. Go with your first instinct. It was Vukic. Luboja. Gavrancic.
And Vukic is getting in all the right spots, as is Jestrovic. What they need to do is finish the ball, but you're right, Max. You were talking about the player they have on the bench, Mirko Vucinovic, who plays with Lecce. He had 18 goals this year in the Serie A, and a lot of big clubs in Italy are thinking about buying him. So maybe he can come in and make a difference.
Jestrovic. Koroman loses it to Visconti. They still can't clear it, but now they'll have a better chance of it. Mpenza stood firm with the challenge of Stankovic. The 17-year-old Vandenbora.
Now we're seeing a different complexion to Belgium. 4 red players in the midfield there. They're starting to pack more together. A little bit more confident on the ball and taking more chances because they need to get the result.
Vandenbora.
See, we hear when there's a whole cadre of players from Belgium that are moving into the Yugoslavian half, the whistles come in the stadium. They're saying this is the tempo that we don't want to see at home. You have to put them under pressure right away and transition very quickly at the other goal.
Well, Spain came in here and held Serbia and Montenegro. That was a huge result for the Spaniards. That was back on the March 30th. 0-0 here. It could happen again. And you can't drop points like that if you're the Serbs. Buffel. Derden. Buffel.
Great ball right there from the left side.
Van der Hagen. De Schacht. Buffel. He needs to get more touches. Mbo. Vandenbora.
One of the aspects of the Belgium game that I like today is that they're playing the ball precise to the feet. They're not just hoping in putting the ball into the space because they need to maintain possession. When you play counter football, it's important to always try to be precise as well. Otherwise, you can wear out your own players. And this is a player we just talked about, Max, who plays at Lecce in the Serie A. The coach gave his players, they put the effort forward. Now he's going to put in a proven goal scorer who's done really well. He's hot at the moment. Mirko Vucinovic.
That'll be it for Nenad Jestrovic.
And I think Jestrovic did a great job fighting for the shirt of Serbia. He did everything he could. Unfortunately, in the first 3 minutes, he couldn't get the goal when it counted. But a good effort from him today. You can't discredit his effort.
An awkward time to be replaced just coming out of halftime, but desperation setting in right now. They needed some goals. Stankovic, the guilty party there. He thought he had all ball, but it'll be a free kick for Belgium as a storming run from Mboumpenza.
And we're seeing Stankovic as well. He's running all over the field on defense. He's running through the midfield. We're seeing him isolated more in the midfield. He needs another player closer to him that can combine and allow him to change the rhythm more quickly. He's playing 1 against 3 right now in the second half.
Near post. Stankovic, Koroman. Some flyers for Serbia, Montenegro. Vukic. Dijak played possum, wins the ball back. Koroman gets a throw.
That's great anticipation from Dijak right there on the left sector. Well done. Combination very quickly to the feet.
Now the shot. Onyen Koroman.
We're really fortunate, Max. We got a good game here. The ambiance is set. Tight technique, good combination. The tempo is there. Exhausting all their efforts on the field. This is what it's all about.
And we'll see no bunkering down. Neither team can afford to take a defensive posture here. Belgium can say, hey, we get a point here. It's not going to do you any good. You already lost to Serbia at home.
That's right.
You need to come forward. And that makes us both very happy.
But it's a game within a game. They have to be prudent at certain times to come back when they feel the other team is stronger. And that's what's interesting.
Emil Mpenza. Well, the best of crosses. However, it is another charge forward from Belgium.
There's the cross we talked about early. Stankovic gets around his player. And you just look at the size of this player. He's over 6 feet. He's probably 185 pounds. And turns the ball and decides to have a perfect technique with the inside of the foot. Sends it back. This is the ball that was contested, the second handball inside the box. So the Serbs really feel they're getting robbed, but nothing's going their way. They had possibilities of getting 2 penalty kicks in this game.
We like to thank our friends at Serbian television providing us feet. Something tells me if it was like a Serbian handball, we wouldn't get that extra little circle, and maybe we would. But I think that wasn't really a handball whatsoever. The first one, though, without a doubt.
Yes.
He hit his hand, but so they could not move. 50 percentile, though. Vucinic. Stankovic.
Vucinic comes in. He's got to jump up to this tempo. They're playing at a very fast tempo.
Koroman, Vukic. They're not afraid to make that last pass inside the area. Very bad foul by Van der Haga.
Koroman's really picking it up in the second half.
Vukic. Well done.
This is good. Koroman gets the ball. Quick restart, passes it to Stankovic.
Oh, they're trying to wear them out here. Kristajic comes up. Commits the foul, though.
Here we see an onrush right here. Right from the perfect area to make a cross where it's dangerous. Vukovic was falling backwards. That's what kept the trajectory of the ball going high and allowed Pronto to do well to save that. Proto.
Wow.
Well done.
I tell you, Vukic falling backwards. He looks, he didn't have his composure with him, but he still managed to get a pretty good shot on goal.
He had pinpointed out that corner, you could see, looking for the surprise.
Kristajic gets up, make sure does not collide with Mboumpenza. Visconti. Flying in Vidic.
Okay, Toke, what a touch. That was fantastic.
Visconti. Flying around. You give me a Roberto Visconti, and I'll build a team around him. He is not afraid to fly in there with those tackles and has won his fair share of ball for Belgium. Gavrancic. Steaming through. Good tackle by Deschamps. Just a throw-in.
And this is what it's going to take from Serbia to get the result. All the players are going to have to participate. The defenders, the wide players, have to play at the right time to be able to get a goal.
Gavrancic, Van Boyten, the volley, Proto. Time off the foot of Stankovic. Certainly at Inter, with all the talent around him, he sometimes is not front and center, but here he has to be that figure for Serbia Montenegro. Vukic. Look on, looking for Vucinic. Mpenza. Skirting through, now some help from Vanden Bode. Clever little touch though, and a good turn of direction from Duljak. Play on, says Valentin Ivanov, our Russian referee. Buffel. Duljak still all over the place. Van der Haga. Now some space. Derden. Oh, he's flicked it through. To the back, Emil Mpenza. Pardon me, Mpenza. Maybe it was Emil, it would have been a little better. Not a bad idea, though.
This is a great opportunity. Way to keep his balance right there on the left side. When he falls right here down, he does great to keep his balance. And this was even greater. He picked his head up, played the ball back. Mpenza just tries to hit it with the inside of his foot and redirected the ball, skipping at him because the grass is a little wet and played it too high. Unfortunate. That could have been a class goal.
He had all sorts of time and he hit it the way he wanted to. It just traveled on him. As we reach the hour mark, still scoreless here at the Red Star Stadium. Stankovic for Vucinic.
And this is good. We see Serbia and Montenegro insisting. They're getting to the flanks. The two forwards are, look at this run right here. A little bit diagonal. He's got a player on top of him, just going right into the area and complicating it for the defenders.
Koroman. Vukic.
Ooh.
Waiting for it was Vucinic. He's come in and
you see the instinct of the player right there, Vucinic. Everyone thought he was going to head the ball at the back post. At the last minute, he tries to take this down with his chest and get it to his feet. Pretty clever. Just slid off again with the wet grass. Great ball right here from Vucinic. He's all over the field, the number 8. And Max, you were talking earlier about the Croatia result. You know that that's got to inspire as well the Serbia and Montenegro. When they come in at halftime, they say Croatia's won 3-1. They don't want to be topped by their companions.
No. And they're at risk of being topped right now unless they find something in the next half hour. Visconti wins another one, but a foul on Mpenza. Gavrancic. Vidic. Kristajic. Serbia and Montenegro, who've made it look easy through this qualification process. Winning at San Marino. Winning again at home. Undefeated throughout.
And we just saw a glimpse again of Stankovic. We talked earlier about how he sits really, really deep, lets the ball progress above, and they drop the ball back to him where he's in striking distance, where he could either make a clever pass through or shoot from long distance, Max.
Ilija Petkovic looking on, wondering where the goals are coming from. One thing he doesn't have to worry about is this defense. You may not have heard a lot about the likes of Dragutinovic and Gavrancic and Nemanja Vidic, but in their 5 World Cup qualifying games, they have not allowed a goal, and they have not allowed a goal here in their 6th contest.
Petkovic has done really well with this team. You know, the former coach had 7 losses. He was a genius player, Savicevic. And Petkovic, who was a famous player himself and coached the national team before, he's brought that winning mentality, the spirit where they're playing for the shirt. It's difficult in a time of disarray when the country is so-called rebuilding and restoring its identity after what happened in the war, to be able to concentrate on unifying and really playing for the country. That's what Croatia did, and I think we're starting to see that here. It's so vital for them to try to qualify and get to the World Cup. It means a lot for their football.
You knew it wasn't going to be easy. By the way, we saw Aimé Antunis, and he, of course, replaced a pretty successful coach in Robert Vasiga. Vukic. Visconti wins it, leaves it for Deschamps. A smooth moving second half. No stoppages, not many whistles either. Van der Hagen, Buffel.
A little bit too far in the space, but nice movement off the ball by both players. Just not synchronized. The last touch.
Headed down. Van Boyten. Koroman. Still just the one substitution in the match. Vukic. Oh yes! The save, Brutal! To deny Vucinic. Zvonimir Vukic, though, what a talent.
Vukic maybe could have done better and hit that ball in the half rhythm. The touch right here is golden. That's where I thought he was going to strike it. He tried to make that last little dribbling. He didn't know that he had a horse right next to him on the right. And Proto came up big there. Unbelievable.
They're whistling, but from our perspective, that looked like a dive from Zvonimir Vukic. He did everything right but that. And again, Valentin Ivanov has to be a nervous man right now. His lack of calls have made it.
And the frustration is a culmination of 3 or 4 different incidents that haven't been called. You have to play with the referee. You understand how he's going to call, you got to make it happen.
Well, he blew the first call in the handball, but the last 2 he's been spot on. Watch again. Can't really tell there.
And that's just unfortunate. Vukovic, he gets himself in the box right there. You know, I think he should have struck it on the half rhythm right there. He had the space, that extra little touch with the grass being wet, skips about a yard further than you anticipated to go.
In defense of the referee, he had a better look than any replay could provide. It was close. Here's Vukic again. Oof, that time.
That was a foul, and that'll be a yellow card, probably, because it's from behind. Nope.
I agree, that probably should have been.
The touch was fantastic. The way he arrived at the moment in the box. Maybe, you know, players that are so calm like that, it's half genius, but he was a little too calm on the second touch. And he needed a little more of that killer instinct to put the ball away on the half rhythm.
Surprisingly, Emil Mpenza in Belgium are causing some problems with the referee, too.
Well, what a goalkeeper. That was a 80% opportunity for Serbia Montenegro when the ball went to the far post. For him to get across the goal and smother this was spectacular. Watch this right here. Just hesitates. And number 18, Vunicic.
Free kick opportunity. Stankovic waves everybody off. He says, this one will be mine. Hits it well. Proto. If this continues, Proto's name's going to be on the front of every Serbian newspaper tomorrow morning.
That's right. If he ever needs a job, he can play in Belgrade for Partizan or Red Star.
Dragutinovic at the throw, and he'll try and cross it in off the left foot now. He does just that. Van Boyten.
Great first touch right there.
That was Gavrancic. Koroman. Luboya. He's been a bit overshadowed.
Yeah, but for a big man, he has an excellent technique. He's been taking down great balls all day. He just hasn't found himself in the right area in the box.
Koroman. Koreman always tends to do the more extravagant play. Van der Haga. And a foul on Emil Mpenza. What a ball.
First touch. Surrounded by multiple players, makes that extra little touch when he could have surprised everyone, including the goalkeeper, in snapping that down when it touches the ball. But this, the determination from Proto to get across the goal and smother that second opportunity was just magnificent.
Koreman, who provided that ball for Vukic, gets away from him. Goal kick for Silvio Proto, the 22-year-old, making his 5th appearance for Belgium, and all those appearances in the last few months.
This one seemed a little bit more manageable because he had time to get to the post. Maybe he could have held on to that. But you never know with Stankovic. He's a specialist at free kicks.
Put a little something extra on that, huh?
Right.
Emil Mpenza, Buffel.
And that's the first time we've seen Buffel in about 15 minutes really participate again, and they need to get him back into the play because I like the way he played in the first half. Serbia has picked up their tempo from halftime.
Clement. Just shocked. 3 players on this Belgian squad had never been capped. None of them are featuring today. You may see them on the bench a little later, but there are players with very few caps. Here's a chance. Derden, headed by Dragutinovic to Jevric. 70th minute, still scoreless. The match is poised.
Looks like Stankovic is down.
Ramping up.
That's him. And if it is Stankovic the captain, then we might be able to see the young boy come in, Seaman Vucicevic, who is really considered a fabulous player. Here it is again, the opportunity right here. Vukic comes in, gets closed down very quickly. Proto follows the ball. Very clever to keep the ball down. Uses his arms for the gestures as if he's going to really smack the ball from the side and keeps the ball down low. I like this. Looks like Stankovic had some cramps right there, and that's due to all the running he's been doing. For number 10, he's running much more. And normally they're running like 40 to 50 yard area on the field. He's been stretching that another 20, 30 and going out to the sides. So I think that he's put a little more mileage on his legs than his capacity that he's used to running at Inter Milan, where he has players behind him, Verón, other players that do the work for him.
Vukic. The corner kick came after Van den Bora couldn't clear it. Just shocked. Luboya. His cross gives him a chance here. Vukic plays it back. Dragutinovic. Vukic. Dragutinovic.
Oh. There's a nice sequence right here. First of all, from the cross from the number 9 was spectacular. Cut back once again, you take the Belgian players out. Defender does well to lay down and force the shot high. His companion was looking for an additional pass right there. Number 18, Mirko Vucinic.
Dragotinovic, number 3 on the left, has been involved in pretty much everything here in this second half. Stankovic looking much better after a little stretch. Vucinic his target.
And that's what he does so well. He turns on a dime, puts his bottom of the foot on the ball, changes it right away, picks his head up, and just chips the ball over the defense to an on-rushing player.
I mentioned Vucinic with 18 goals at Lecce. Still 6 goals off the pace of Cristiano Lucarelli. 24 goals for Livorno. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, Livorno has a history of creating great young players there.
Luboya. Clement. Mbo. Stankovic. The favorite in Group 7 was Spain, but after we saw what happened in Euro 2004, it's a different Spanish team with not the star power it once had. So the door has been open for Serbia and Montenegro. The door opened for them. They haven't been able to really walk through. Now Belgium, after a miserable start, have a chance to perhaps walk through there themselves.
Good ball on the ground right there to Stankovic.
Vukic to turn. Vucinic right there. It's going to be a free kick.
And they get the call they need finally. It is the difference of popping the ball up to yourself in the area with 3 Belgian defenders or keeping it low with the outside of the foot. He does really well here to receive the ball. First of all, great view, kind of a no-look pass. He does well, just gets twisted down. This is very dangerous territory for Belgium to be in for a free kick because Stankovic, there's a few different players. We saw earlier in the game, Max, where the number 8, Vukovic, took that left-sided bending cross from 25 meters out. So either of them could really place it here.
Silvio Proto growing up before our very eyes. It will not be Stankovic. Zvonimir Vukic will give it a go.
Look to his right how open Stankovic is for a first-time shot. We'll be interested to see if he hits us on goal.
Maybe expect something unexpected here.
No.
Vukic up and over and just a bit too tall. Well, Fox Soccer Channel proud to present the UEFA European Women's Championships, which begin on Sunday. Live coverage, including 2 of the Scandinavian powers, Sweden and Denmark. Noon Eastern, live. And we'll have coverage from the entire tournament, which features favorites Norway and Germany. Been a real quiet day for Emil and Penza, unfortunately, but they have made sure that if they were going to be beaten, it would not be by the captain.
Well, they're not totally quiet, and they've stretched out the defense on occasion when Bafil was able to link with him. But I'm really impressed with Stankovic. I think he's played well. You know, he's not just a number 10 that's wearing the tuxedo walking around on the field. He's worked for his team, for his country. I think he's done a good job. Question is, can they get the goal in the next 15 minutes? It's going to take a little bit of magic and perseverance.
You mentioned Penza plays for Hamburg. Hamburg got a real coup of a transfer this week with Rafael van der Vaart, the Dutch international.
That's
and
right.
They have Mark van Boyden. Hey, Hamburg may be a team to watch next season out of the Bundesliga.
Good location.
Good financial center in case you need to do some investing.
That's
you know?
right.
Yeah. Van der Hagen. It's becoming a little serious right now for Serbia. Luboya. Clement, who plays for Club Bruges, the recently crowned Belgian champions. Club Bruges, by the way, wins the league, but lose to Germinal Beerschot of Antwerp in the Belgian Cup.
This is good work from the Belgium team. The way they exit out of the back there, first the intervention, and then the transition and moving up together as a unit. You can tell that their legs are tired. You can see it in their touches on the ball. They've been worked very hard.
Storming in was Derden, but he couldn't come up with it, but it was enough to disrupt the pass, which was won by Visconti. De Schacht.
That's good work right there, trailing the player.
Taken right back by Vanderhagen. Derden. Buffel. Mbo. Buffel looking for a sight line.
It's a nice player, Buffel, no? It's good.
Just keeps moving. Vanderhagen gives it a go, but it's blocked off the backside of Guyaj. Proto. Not cleared very well. Luboya! Train wreck. And who was there? Visconti. A little Italian in Visconti, eh? He looks like he could be wearing the Azzurri.
That's right. Visconti con il cappuccino.
Yeah, he's a proud Belgian, though. As Belgium will make their first substitution, Keon Derden, the Genk midfielder, will be coming out, and Philippe Leonard. Leonard, a defender from Standard Liège.
You know, one of the things we're seeing, Max, is the number 9. Luboja, he's doing really well when he's holding the ball, but we're always seeing him on the flank, either on the right side or the left, or 30, 40 meters away from goal. And you'd like to see a player with that kind of size a little bit more in the area. He's a player in the area. And that's one of the reasons why they're, even though they have the movement off the ball, the midfielders coming through, I think at this point in the match, we got 10, 11 minutes left, that he's got to be a little more central in the box and look to post up like number 18 did earlier and try to have players to play off.
Emil Mpenza. Tightly marked there by Gavrancic. Mpenza, who was with Schalke 04 before moving to Hamburg. Visconti.
Those little movements we saw from Mpenza right there are very valuable for his country, you know, because if it's another forward where they put you in the pocket and you don't make even a move like that, that caused 7 players from Yugoslavia to come back, including Stankovic. So it doesn't allow you to have that quick transition and counter, and that's one of the reasons why they're 0-0 at the moment.
Visconti. Vandenbora not at all timid to move into the attack. Well, another teenager is going to enter the fray here. Simon Vukcevic.
And this is the player I'm anxious to see. They talk about him as the next coming in the mold of Savicevic and Dragan Stojkovic, who lit up many stadiums across Europe as well. The right time to bring the boy in.
Just 19, and what a nice exit from Koroman, urging on the teenager to rise to the occasion. The hero of the country. The best defense in World Cup qualifying, but they need a very talented attack to step up right now.
And you got to love that. He steps right into the game. They give him the ball. He rolls it over with the bottom of his left foot and comes and asks for the ball. I love that. There he is.
There he is again, and he keeps it this time. Oh, yes. As advertised. Stankovic, Vukic, Mbo and Mpenza. Vukcevic wins it back for a moment. He's won a free kick. Instant gratification for the Belgrade crowd.
And this is a talent. They say Juventus is looking at him right now. They're trying to buy him. number 17.
To go with their other Serbian, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Oh no, Swede. With a lot of ties in the Balkan area.
Maybe that's why he had the battle with Mihailovic.
Oh.
Maybe they weren't speaking in Italian.
A couple attacking players brought in by Serbia-Montenegro, and going to bring a holding midfielder, Dragan Mladenovic. Momentarily, Benza will make it one Benza on the pitch. And Stankovic, this may be injury related. He just can't go.
I think he gave everything. He exhausted his whole body, did more running than the average player in his position does to fight for his team. It was a great effort from him. A good day to have another player that can make those passes. Maybe not as long as he does, but I think it was a good presence from him. Good performance.
Guljaj.
That's the way football goes, Max. You know, we could have been looking at 1-0 in the first 2-3 minutes.
You got that right.
And Serbia-Montenegro could be up in this game, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1.
It changed everything.
Yep.
And for that, Silvio Proto has to be thanked. Serbia-Montenegro making all three of their substitutions. Real Sociedad midfielder Mladenovic, the latest to come in. Free kick opportunity. Vukic. Good ball. Van Buiten rising above everyone else. And that ball offline from Vukicevic. More World Cup qualifiers coming up on Wednesday. Live coverage from Helsinki, where Finland look to stop Holland. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Proto. Kristajic. Vukic. Intercepted by Mladenovic. Has a head of steam. Vucinic. Not the best ball.
And that's what we talked about earlier. Oh, kidding.
He kick-started it. Vandenbora. 5 minutes left. Mladenovic bumped by Visconti. Visconti's been a hero out there. He's won another ball. One right back. Dragutinovic. That one might have too many legs on it.
Well, we have to admit that the referee lets it go both ways as far as tackles are concerned and the physicality of the play.
Still hopeful. Although not as many smiling faces and cheers as there once were. Kristajic. All that good work at the beginning of qualifying for Serbia-Montenegro about to go to waste after potentially back-to-back 0-0 draws with Spain, now Belgium, both at home. And Belgium, after the miserable start, are looking at 2 wins and maybe a pretty impressive point here in Belgrade, although it probably won't be enough for their World Cup hopes. Belgium began with a tie with Lithuania, lost to Spain, bounced back with well, the loss to Serbia-Montenegro, but then bounced back with the wins against Bosnia-Herzegovina and San Marino.
Lubora goes down there a little bit. Looks like he hit his shoulder wrong. Doesn't have too much time to stay down.
No one can sit around and wait on the ground at this point, hurt or not. They got to push forward. Visconti. After this will be beyond the halfway point in World Cup qualifying. Both teams would have played 6 out of 10 games. This is their last meeting, obviously, between the two.
One takeaway from this so far is that Belgium's not a team that you can pin down, even if you're high pressuring them. You know, we've seen so many countries, so many teams, club teams, Even in Europe, good teams like Milan, when PSV Eindhoven put them under pressure. Even with great players, Real Madrid has been pressured. But Belgium is a team it's very difficult to pin down. The way that they break out, their physical capacity, they're not allowed to, it's not as if Serbia and Montenegro was breathing down their neck and not letting them make any combinations. So I think from that standpoint, Belgium's done very well.
Luigi Pieroni coming in for Buffel, the Auxerre midfielder. And you saw Daniel Luboya on the sideline in a lot of pain, and they don't have another substitution. So this could just be an absolute killer, but maybe they have the talent to do what it takes out there. Proto off his line. And the young Partizan Belgrade midfielder Simon Vukcevic almost catching him napping. Well, he caught him napping, but it almost cost him.
There we see it. It just touches the bar right there. He came out thinking about grabbing it. Saw the ball coming down the trajectory. You wonder if he was going for that far post or not.
Proto steps in to collect.
Responds well, Proto. His teammate pulled him aside, said, good job, shake it off, you're playing great.
And great throw to Pieroni, who gets it to Impenza, takes a nasty hop though. Serbia Montenegro playing with 10 right now. Vandenbora. Pieroni can't get around Vukcevic, who continues to marvel here in his short stay. You wonder, why could we not seen him sooner? Pieroni.
And that's probably one of the reasons, the physicality of the game. He gets bumped off, he's looking for the foul. And probably a good decision from the coach, but you can see he's just a boy in a pickup game right now. He's loving it. He's on the field, receiving the ball, any area of the field.
Visconti, 90th minute. Vucinic. Vukcevic. Gavrancic.
Nice
Feels
ball.
back. Vukcevic. Duljac. Kristajic. Here comes the defenders into the attack. Dragutinovic. Luboya back out there. Crosses it in. Mladenovic the closest to it, and he's won a corner kick. It'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time.
Good patience in the build-up right there. The fans are a little upset. They want to see direct attacks at goal, but they're still looking for the way.
Whipped in by Vukcevic, the 19-year-old taking all the set pieces. Emil Impenza. Duljac.
Two players not on the same page.
Well, Belgium at this point probably have to say, hey, this is a pretty good point. We didn't have a full complement of players, and we have 4 games ahead of us. We host Spain, who might be the teams in front. We got some sort of revenge against Serbia Montenegro for beating us in Brussels, and most importantly, we have games against Bosnia and Herzegovina and San Marino, as well as that last one against Lithuania. So if they get the points there, they could rise from the grave and find a way into the World Cup field. It's not out of the ordinary for them to do it. There's other teams with a much taller hill to climb.
Yeah, and Serbia really wanted this match because otherwise it's going to come down to the match against Spain in September, and that won't be easy. We'll be seeing these two teams again, Serbia against Spain, and that could decide the whole group.
But it will be in Spain. There will not be a second-place team coming out of this group, I can assure you. They have meager point totals coming into now. Right, coming into this round, Spain in second had 9 points. Compare that to the Czechs with 15, Greece with 14, and Sweden, who just picked up 15 points now. Slamming in there is Vukcevic. This will be the last good chance, perhaps.
And the referee's going to give a yellow card as well.
Slammed in there. Vucevic. Well-drilled ball. They'll have a corner kick. And this is the last chance.
Good placement of that cross right there. It was right in the area. Put it.
Vucinic looking for the Olympic goal. Well, impressively, Serbia and Montenegro now 6 games in World Cup qualifying without allowing a goal, but now 2 straight games without scoring one.
Yeah, I think they demonstrated they're very secure at the back. They have that libero that always keeps his distance from the other players. They don't play a flat back 4, so they always have the comfort of being able to anticipate and get the loose balls. Even when Penza made the dangerous runs, they were usually out into the flank area where they can cover.
And that is it from Belgrade. Scoreless after 90 minutes. Serbia and Montenegro remain in the lead, but maybe for not much longer, with Spain and Lithuania looking to seize the opportunity. The final score from the Red Star Stadium: Serbia-Montenegro 0, Belgium 0.